Kenny.
Thanks, Ciarán.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ciarán. A lot of the questions that I had have been already answered, so I'm probably going to ask some questions that are kind of slightly supplementary to the issue. So just a question. I'm not sure it has been answered, but in relation to neurological consultants in Ireland, in relation to the rest of Europe, where does it, how does it match? Is it kind of on the levels of, in European levels? Where in Irish terms, where does that lie?
We're still much lower than mainland Europe. We're even lower than the UK, which is much lower than mainland Europe. So we often compare ourselves to the UK, but actually the UK doesn't do very well in terms of delivery of neurological services, in terms of the ratio between consultants and patients. So we're much lower than we should be. But again, there's an inequity in that, in Ireland, in that there are parts of the country that are really poorly served with respect to neurology, and I elucidated those earlier. And we really need to build the regional support services. And there are good stories here as well. For example, in Limerick, which is a hub in development, there are now 4 neurologists in Limerick. Last year there were only 2. And Limerick is a case in point of a really good development of a hub for neurological care. But there are other parts of the country that remain very poorly served, and we also have to think about not only the ratio but also the geographic terrain. So the northeast or the northwest is an example of that, where the whole of Donegal is managed by my colleagues in Sligo, where there are 2 neurologists. A third neurologist has been advertised, and I think recently interviewed. But really, if we look at the need of that part of the country and the waiting list, particularly in the north of Letterkenny, that's still much worse than anywhere else across the whole of Western Europe, I think, and very, very significant waiting lists.
Professor Hardiman, in relation to neurological consultants, how many would there be in Ireland at this moment in time?
So it's a slightly difficult question to answer, because we have a number of people in locum posts, a number of people funded to the National Treatment Purchase Fund. I think the total number is 44, as far as I know. Is that correct, Max? Or in that order?
The approved post is about 34?
Yes,
36.
but there are some people who are in part-time posts, and we have some people who are locuming, and some people who are in National Treatment Purchase Fund. In terms of CORLA or the consultant approval process, 34 full substantive posts, but some more in the offing, I think, coming forward, but still not enough.
About half of what it should be.
Yes, yeah, given the population.
Okay, and obviously there's a shortfall in relation to neurological nurses in the state. I think at the moment there's 42 in the state, and obviously that needs to be pushed up to at least triple that. And obviously that's over a 5-year kind of period. So that's, yeah, okay. Just in relation to my final question to Professor Hardiman, it's probably not related to exactly this subject matter, but I will ask you anyway. And it's in relation to the medical cannabis access programme. And obviously two of the 3 conditions that have been stipulated under the programme are neurological conditions, namely drug-resistant epilepsy and MS. Now obviously the programme has been up and running since November. There's only a small amount of people that have got access to medical cannabis. It's extremely frustrating for those that are trying to get access to medical cannabis via the programme. In your professional opinion, do you think there's a role for medical cannabis in relation to, particularly around drug-resistant epilepsy and MS and certain other neurological conditions where there has been really good evidence and efficacy in relation to medical cannabis intervention in relation to them conditions.
There's an undoubted role for it, and my colleagues who look after epilepsy, both paediatric and adult, have researched the evidence base for this, and there is clearly a very strong evidence base in support of the medical cannabinoid products in the management of particular forms of epilepsy, subtypes of epilepsy. There's definitely a role for managing spasticity, and the licensing is for MS, but there may be a role for other types of spasticity as well for some of the cannabinoid products. The difficulty in accessing, my understanding is that it's related to the actual companies that make the products that are most efficacious, and the process of reimbursement through the Health Technology Assessment Services through Michael Barry's unit in the pharmacoeconomics sector, and that the negotiations around the reimbursement, that there have been some delays in that. So this is not an issue, my understanding, it's not an issue about a reluctance of colleagues to prescribe, nor is it an issue of a reluctance within the HSE to permit. It's an issue of ensuring that the best price is available to the Irish Exchequer, and that the process of establishing that is currently underway. That's my understanding.
Thank you.